Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta have a talk. I know I've been talking a lot about Gaza, but a lot of people seem to overlook the fact that this war is not only with Gaza. Therefore, I went ahead and compiled, no, not this one, this is just a different. I went ahead and compiled some clip for you guys so that way we can all get an understanding of the bigger picture of what I think is going on. Could I be wrong? 100%. But first, hear me out and you let me know if what I'm saying makes sense or if it doesn't. Before that, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting off with our world leaders, the politicians. Now, I just want to go ahead and let you guys know that these people right here that we see before our own eyes, these are not the real power holders. These are not the people who are calling the shots. It has become pretty much obvious in the past few years that these are all puppets. So, who are the people in control? As many of us may realize that these are the people in control. These are the people who are calling the shot. Recently, Donald Trump, quote unquote, went off on Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, this is just a facade. This is just a show. This is just to try to show the world that he is still in position of power, that he is still holding the power in the relationship that's going on between the United States and the state of Israel. Now, the reason why I'm having this conversation with you guys is because many people out there seem to have the idea that the state of Israel is in war with the Palestinians, when in reality, that's true. Yes, they are in war with the Palestinians, but they are also in war with the Romans. Who are the Romans, you may be wondering? The Roman today, in modern day, in my opinion, are pretty much the Europeans of today. That's America, that's obviously Europe, and all these other regions. There was a video of Benjamin Netanyahu in which somebody asked him a very, very good question. And I want you guys to go ahead and listen to his response. And I will elaborate a little bit more.
We want to know what you're reading now.
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
It's a book by a historian named Barry Strauss. It's called The Jews Against Rome. Jews Against Rome.
What made you pick it up?
Well, we lost that one. I think we have to win the next one.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't hear that toward the end, I'm sure you did, you read it. We lost our one. Therefore, we have to win the next one. This is the Wikipedia here. The Jewish-Roman War were a series of large-scale revolts by the Jews of Judea against the Roman Empire between 66 and 135 CE. The conflict was driven by a Jewish aspiration to restore the political independent laws when the Roman conquered the Hasmonean kingdom and unfolded over three major uprisings. The first Jewish-Roman War, 66 through 73 CE. The second one, the third one, and the fourth one, and so on and so forth. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you this question. Why would somebody in the 21st century be reading a book and say that he is, well, not wanting to lose the war just like his predecessor have done? This is a map right here of Rome. In case many of you guys don't know where this region is, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's this area right over here. Now, Theodor Herzl is somebody who is the founder of Zionism. When he first wanted to establish a state of Israel, he didn't really have Palestine in mind. He had other places like Argentina. Eventually, they ended up settling down in Palestine. Now, I think this is extremely strategic. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this right here is the most important region in the whole entire globe, especially in modern age, because of the oil that is being exported from Saudi Arabia. If the Arabs, whom are fighting on the front line currently to protect the European, despite the fact that Europe is constantly feeding Israel weaponry to continue bombing Palestinians and also Lebanese, currently now the Iranians. If this country falls, in which where Israel is trying to create greater Israel, if these countries fall and Egypt falls and Turkey falls, Europe needs to understand that they will now become the forefront of mainstream media. Right now, the Palestinians are the one who are on the forefront of the mainstream media. And Europe, well, they're too oblivious to really understand the fact that they will be next on the chopping block. In case you guys don't know who Jonathan Pollard is, he is somebody who stole a lot of secret information from the United States of America during the time when he used to work here. He was found guilty of that and therefore sentenced to life in prison. But because of the state of Israel and the stranglehold that they have on the United States, they were able to set Jonathan Pollard free. On a recent podcast that he had, I made a video about this yesterday. You can go and check it out. On a recent podcast that he had, he pretty much alluded to the idea that Turkey and Egypt will have to go. Currently, we are at war with Iran, but he said Turkey and Egypt will have to go. And then I also showed you guys the example of how exactly they're going to do that, because Israel, or should I say the Jews, are not really big in number. So they do not have the weaponry nor the capacity to take down two empires like Egypt and Turkey, especially simultaneously. Now, this brings me to the fact that this is why they are now introducing the act in which they're going to try to merge the United States and Israel together, so that way they can help each other out to achieve their greater goal of dominating the entire region, the entire Middle East. Now, if this was to happen, if the heirs were to fall, in my opinion, it's not going to happen. But let's go ahead and say, for the sake of argument, that they do fall. If this was to happen and they've managed to establish the false state of Somaliland and take control of this little the Red Sea and take down the Yemenis, pretty much it will be complete. Rome will then be under full control of the state of Israel. And what Benjamin Netanyahu said in this video will finally come to fruition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what about America? Why does this have anything to do with America? America is pretty much going to become the police. America is going to be used as a country that's going to be that's going to be a dog. I mean, it is now, but it's going to be ramped up. It's going to be set off to pretty much attack any Roman country or any European land that does not listen to the state of Israel. Therefore, in order for that to happen, America needs to back out of NATO. That's how they will make it possible. Turkey is part of NATO. How do you think they're going to attack Turkey using America if Turkey is part of NATO and America is part of NATO? The only answer that I can have is pretty much America needs to back out of NATO. Continuing, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to go ahead and also put a lot of emphasis on the idea that once America pretty much started blessing the state of Israel, according to the evangelical believers out there, they believe that those who bless Israel shall be blessed. I have shown this video multiple times in my videos. I keep it safe because I believe that it is extremely crucial, especially for the people of America, to understand that their enemy is not with the Muslim, that their enemy is not with the Mexican or the brown people or the people whom they deem not European. They have been brainwashed into thinking that the brown people or whoever is not European is their enemy, therefore is trying to take their land, trying to take their country. This is why you have a lot of people out there who are pretty much saying America first, or saying that we need to get rid of immigrants, completely ignoring the fact that the state of Israel has pretty much made the Middle East unlivable, unless you're in the UAE and, Saudi Arabia region. But that's momentarily, because Iran has recently, well, not recently, a couple of weeks ago, have threatened that if the war is to kick back up and they were to attack the desalination plant in Iran, Iran will go ahead and use that as a justification to completely destroy the Middle East by attacking their desalinizations. So it's only a matter of time before that is to happen and the Middle East pretty much becomes unlivable. Therefore, they will have to rely on other countries to be able to sustain their lives. Now, let me go ahead and show you this video here, and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. Pretty much, this guy down here is going to go over the idea of what has happened over the few decades since America started blessing the state of Israel. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, according to Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel, or should I say, the Yahud, are at war with Rome, and they cannot lose this one. How long has the battle been going on? Well, that question is extremely difficult to answer, in my personal opinion, because if you go back to 1948, you can go further back than that. You can go back to the creation of the Federal Reserve and, the ADR and all these things. But let's go ahead and listen to this.
Heard an anti-Zionist Christian podcaster say something very interesting. I don't know if I totally agree with this, but it's interesting no less. He said, when America started blessing Israel on May 14th, 1948, what did it get? What did America get since then, since the Nakba? What did America get since 1948? Abortion, feminism, homosexuality becoming mainstream, increase in AIDS and other STDs, gender ideology, high crime rates, trash in the streets, increased violence, increased divorce, inflation, increased homelessness, rampant atheism, the epidemic use of pornography, disobedient children, social Marxism, critical race theory, and postmodern post-truth philosophy.
Wow. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, these are pretty much the damage that the state of Israel has done to the American people since the founding of Israel in 1948, and since America pretty much became the dog on the leash. Obviously, JFK knew this, and he wanted to put a stop to it. And well, let's just say that he got unalived in front of millions of people. And since then, no United States president has ever decided to stand up to the state of Israel, and they have pretty much been able to do everything and anything they can do, including acquiring nuclear weapon that they use to pretty much blackmail the whole entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, Americans are in a very, very strategic and very, very, how should I say, privileged part of the world. The only way to take down America is not via attack. The only way to take down America is by destroying it from within. And one of the most important weapon that they have used to do that is the widespread of pornography and the widespread of poisoning the food. Look at the condition of the Americans. People are becoming fat. Kids can't seem to stop gooning. Women are becoming half naked on the internet. They have pretty much been dominated mentally, and yet they've completely refused to believe that. They refuse to believe it because because the mainstream media has fed them the idea that their enemy is not from within, that rather the enemy is either down here or over here. Hence why nobody has really sat there and thought to themselves, how can we be taken over? How have we been taken over? This brings me to my point of how much money has the United States spent so far fighting the war on terror in the Middle East? They have spent over $8 trillion. And then my question is, how has America benefited from this? Because the video in which I have shown you guys, all these things are still around. Excuse me. All these things are still around. Life is not getting better for the average American. Things are becoming more expensive. Despite the struggle of American people, the most common talking point that has not been going around recently is the data center that have been talked about. A lot of states in America are now starting to build data center. Now, people think that this idea of building a data center is for the benefit of America, is to help build more jobs, when in reality is going to be the opposite, really. All these data centers are going to do is just to monitor American people. What's going on in Palestine right now is a prime example of what is yet to come here. You guys know of a company named Palantir. Many people don't understand the fact that Palantir was pretty much used to target civilians in Gaza, because they use the AI to try to guess who is a T and who's not a T. And obviously, this was a program that was learning how this is going to happen. All these data centers being built all over the United States is going to be a giant surveillance system. The people who decide to speak out against the state of Israel, because like I said, America is going to become a bigger leash for the state of Israel. And once Israel pretty much take control of the Middle East, they're going to unleash America onto European, onto Romans. So yes, the data center is going to become a giant surveillance system that's going to be used to demonize and just lock up anybody who is going to criticize the state of Israel. Israel understands that America is in a very strategic area of the world. Israel understands that there's, South America is not going to do anything. Canadians are definitely not going to do anything. And on top of that, America is the superpower with a lot of nuclear bomb. China doesn't really want to go to war with America. Rather, China wants Taiwan and just control Taiwan. Russia, I don't know exactly what's going on over there. I'll have to read up on that. I digress, ladies and gents. My whole entire point is, America is trillions of dollars in debt. Homelessness is on the rise. Donald J. Trump has not shown his face to the public. It's been about a week now. And many Americans are starting to become very concerned because of his deteriorating health. Kids cannot stop gooning. Social media has become a manipulating app that is now brainwashing the youngs. Although we are waking up to the notion that Israel is in fact the superpower of the world and it is controlling America. Millions of innocent people are dying all over the Middle East. Iran is currently under attack, and because of that, the Strait of Hormuz is now under the control of Iran. Therefore, the global market is under threat because 20% of the oil that makes its way around the world has been pretty much cut off, and the world is starting to become extremely uneased. Donald J. Trump wants to go ahead and stop the war from happening, but the state of Israel refused to do that because, again, America needs to be looked at as the evil guy. America needs to be looked at as a bad guy. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, could I be wrong about all of this? 100%. 100%. Now, there's a lot more that I can pile on to try to, make my argument a little bit stronger. But I'm hoping that in the short period of time that I have said all of these, it's enough for you to at least get that little brain of yours fired up, for you to think about it, for you to try to understand what's really going on out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you gather any information from this, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. This is just me having a little bit of a monologue about the state and how I'm pretty much connecting some dots here and there. Now, again, I'm nobody. I'm somebody who is just seeing things out there and trying to make sense of the world. And I'm just trying to share that information with you guys. So if you made it this far, ladies and gents, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys up in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.